I'm joined by former Resources Minister Matt Canavan, a National Senator. Matt Canavan, thank you so much for coming on. You collected those statistics. What do they tell you?
Well, they tell me that we have one of the most insane self-destructive energy policies in the world. Keep in mind that we actually sell the coal to a lot of these countries that are building these new coal-fired power stations, to Japan, to Korea, used to China, of course, as well, to India increasingly. We're selling our world best quality coal to fuel these new coal-fired power stations, 345 being built around the world right now tonight. Yet we deny ourselves access to that same resource. There's a ban, like you cannot even mention building a coal-fired power station. I do from time to time and get a lot of trouble for doing so. But how self-defeating do we want to be here with this policy that we're happy to sell our natural resources to other countries to grow and develop their nations, to take our manufacturing jobs, but we won't use the same resource ourselves just to let pensioners in Australia be able to heat their homes tonight, because people are being asked to turn off their power supplies tonight in what I thought was a developed country. This is a national embarrassment and should be, hopefully, finally a wake-up call that we cannot keep doing what we have been doing before. And what we have been doing before is investing in renewables at a record pace, but they are not reliable. They cannot keep the power on all the time. And we need to revert back to using our coal, our gas, and maybe even nuclear one day to provide reliable power to people.
And in fact, our energy regulators are making it even more a hazard to invest in fossil fuels in Australia by saying, in some cases, to keep the lights on right now, I don't care if your company can't make money selling power in this market, we're forcing you to do that. So even if you do invest in it and you can't turn a buck, we now have a socialised system which is going to drive you into the ground just to keep the lights on because we haven't planned for this so-called transition. But let's not muck around here, Matt Canavan. If you guys, the Liberals and Nats, had won the election last month, we would still have this electricity crisis right now because of the Turnbull government and the Morrison government particularly that helped to create this. What did you do wrong?
Well, there's no doubt we would have had that, Andrew. I'm not making that argument. I'm not going to gild the lily there. What we did wrong is we failed to get projects like investments in coal and gas up and going. In fairness to Angus Taylor, a lot of the opposition was at the state level to those projects. We did try and underwrite a dozen investments in coal and gas infrastructure, but they were frustrated particularly by New South Wales, who changed all of the electricity rules unilaterally in the last few years and scuttled a lot of those initiatives. But look, mistakes have been made and we need to move on from this. And as I say, let's just hope that the Labor government takes the right lessons here, because it looks like they're going to double down. I think Anthony Albanese is trying to make a record for the quickest broken promise. This government's just weeks old. But don't forget, Andrew, don't forget, all your viewers shouldn't forget that they promised, the Labor Party promised, that they would bring down electricity bills for every Australian by $275 a year. I think that promise is already gone, and they knew it could never be delivered because the electricity market was already creaking during the election while they were making this promise, and now they just simply aren't going to be able to deliver it.
Well, the only way they can deliver it, Matt Canavan, sleight of hand. What they're going to do is give massive subsidies to power companies so they don't charge you as much, particularly renewable energy ones. So, all right, it might be that they save you in your bill, in your electricity bill, $275. I doubt it. I'm with you. I doubt it. But if it did, but on the other hand, you'd be paying up to unbelievable amounts in taxes to actually subsidise those prices.
That's right.
That's how that trick is going to get played.
That's right.
Matt Canavan, I actually didn't get time last time you were on the show to ask you, but I'm going to do it now. I find it a disgrace that you are not a shadow minister in this opposition. What have you done to Nationals leader David Littleproud that he would not nominate you or Jacinta Price for a front bench position? Because it's his call when he goes to Peter Dutton. He didn't nominate you. He didn't nominate Jacinta Price. The two people I think that would make a difference, you didn't get a job. Why not?
It's my choice, Andrew. It's my choice because I want to continue to fight against these crazy policies, and we, unfortunately, the Liberal National Party, continue to persist with this idea of net zero emissions by 2050.
That's a sideways shuffle,
this is at the core of what
you're
the problem
really saying is.
The problem here now is, well, I can't be. I'm not going to be in the ministry while we can.
Your party won't do the right thing, and so there's no room for you. That's the problem. It's Jacinta Price.
Well, it won't do what I.
Therefore,
it won't. I'll just.
I
think there's a. I don't think that's true with Jacinta. She's just come into the parliament. But it's on myself, Andrew, in fairness to everybody, in fairness to me and my colleagues, I've got to, I cannot, my view is that scrapping net zero emissions is the right policy. Now, that's not the view of my colleagues, so I can't be in the shadow ministry while I hold that view. That's what I've got to do. But we have created, the net zero emissions policy is creating an artificial desert in a land of milk and honey. We've got all these resources. We've got coal, we've got gas, we've got everything. But we're denying our use of them because we've set this artificial target that we must reduce emissions to zero by 2050. And therefore you apparently can't build a coal-fired power station, like 345 are being built around the world, because we have this artificial target that we're sticking to. Yep. So we've got to drop that target if we want to deliver lower prices and bring back manufacturing jobs to Australia. That's what I'll keep fighting for.
It's all very well you're saying they've got to drop the target, and I totally agree with you. The problem is you don't have a Nationals Party leadership that wants to argue that case too. This is the real problem. They don't want to argue against targets of any kind and going back to coal. This is the problem. This is the real problem. Matt Canavan, I'm so glad though that you can speak up, so there's a benefit here. Thank you so much for your time.